Alright, welcome back to another review on my little channel here I have on YouTube. This is a different place as usual, and it's been a while since I've actually been in this pretty much area. But anyways, as you should know, I'm doing this Season 5, Episode 10 of The Walking Dead. As you should know, I'm just going to go over the episode and pretty much say what I thought of during the episode. So, let's get right into it. We start off with Maggie. Maggie's crying, and this is our first time that we've seen her since the mid-season finale. And yeah, she's crying over Beth. Beth is dead now, her sister. They buried her, and she's grieving over it. So, of course, she's crying. Then there's a walker that comes up behind her. Of course, she stops crying for a second, kills the walker, sits down, and cries again. You know, because she's pretty much down in the dumps right now. We pan over to Daryl. Daryl's digging up some worms and eats them. As you should know, worms are actually pretty good in protein and everything like that. Then we switch over to Sasha. Sasha's down in like a creek, but of course there's no water. She's trying to find water, and there's pretty much nothing there. It seems like they're in midsummer because the creek is dried up, and it seems like they're in a drought, and there's no water around, so they can't find it. There's a bunch of dead frogs that's telling us that the water hasn't been there for a while, or there has been like a poison or something like that. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to make up suggestions right now. So, Sasha, Daryl, and Maggie, they all go back to the main group, Rick and everybody else. Sasha and Maggie talk for a bit before they get back there. Once they get back to the group, they all go back into... I got a coin for some reason. But they all go back into the van that they were in. But eventually they run out of gas, and there's nothing that they can do but just look at each other and say, yeah, we gotta move on. So, Rick just says, yeah, we're walking from here, and, you know, pick up what you can carry and let's go. Rick and Daryl talk for a bit, and Daryl's like, yeah, I'm gonna go into the woods and try to find some more stuff for us. You know, you can wait here or whatever. But then Carol in the background's like, yeah, Daryl, I'm gonna come with you because I like you. And if you say no, I'm just gonna come anyways. So anyways, they both go off, they walk off. Then we go over to Carl and Maggie. Carl and Maggie talk for a bit, then Carl gives Maggie a music box. I don't know where he got it, but, you know, a music box. I don't know why he's carrying around a music box. Maybe because he knew that Maggie was down in the dumps. But anyways, he gives her a music box. And then Gabriel, of course the father from the church, he's like, if you need anybody to talk to, I'm the guy for it. But Maggie turns around and friggin' talks the crap out of Gabriel, saying, you don't know you don't know anything about this. Why are you even bringing it up? But, you know, I thought it was funny, actually. But Gabe just looks down the road for a few seconds and stops walking. Then afterwards, we get another cut, and then we get a cut with a bunch of walkers behind them, or zombies, whatever you want to say it. And there's just a bunch of zombies behind them just wandering. Of course, since Sasha lost Tyrese in the last episode, she's like, I want to take out my grief on other people. I don't want to sit down and cry. So she's talking to Michonne and saying, we should kill them. We got enough. I can kill them anyways. You don't need to worry about it. Then Michonne's like, yeah, you're not very smart if you're thinking of that, and maybe we shouldn't do that. And then Sasha walks away from her. I found that really funny. Then we get to Daryl and Carl, not Carl, but Carol again. They talk for a bit, and they're just saying, yeah, we can't find water, and stuff like that. And yeah, but anyways, then we get to, Carol actually giving Beth's knife to Daryl, and he just looks at it for a bit. Then we go back to Rick's group. Rick's group is pretty much going to take out some walkers. Of course, I don't know how to really explain this, but they're on a bridge, and the big group, I don't know, the valley in between them. They're like, we don't really want to use all the energy to kill all these walkers, so they start pushing them down the valley. Then friggin' Sasha, she's like, I'm gonna kill all these guys. I'm not even gonna worry about it. She goes over to some of the walkers and starts stabbing them and killing them. I'm like, what is going on at this point? And yeah, then Michonne comes in and says, you should stop it right now, Sasha. You don't need to do this and that. So that's it for that part. You might notice some cuts. I'm just doing it for my saving time and everything like that. But let's get right back into the episode. So, of course, the group gets to a bunch of cars at this point, and I found this funny because Maggie, oh my god, Maggie searches the car, and she pretty much finds the keys for it, of course, and she goes around back, and she unlocks the trunk, opens it up, and there's a zombie tied up. So, of course, you're like, I don't care about this. So she shuts the door, she starts walking away, but there's, like, beating on the trunk saying, like, the zombie wants out. It knows that there's food around. So Maggie, for some reasons, like, oh yeah, I don't like the sound of that zombie, so she tries to open up the trunk again, but for some reason, she slams the trunk, like, enough for the key to get stuck for some reason. I don't know how that works out, but then she brings out a gun, instead of, like, just about to shoot the lock, instead of going back into the car, there's probably about a button or a latch to open up the trunk, but you know they don't care about that. So Glenn comes over, calms her down, and he opens up the trunk. He gets it enough and opens up the trunk. He kills it. Daryl's in the woods, and that's pretty much it. That's all my note says. He's in the woods. So then the group talks about Abraham. Abraham, he's pretty much, I don't know why he's really depressed or something like that, but he has, like, liquor, and they're out of water, so liquor makes you thirsty, so they're, like, saying, yeah, that's not gonna help him, why is he doing that, and all this and that. And pretty much that, they're just talking about him like that. Then Daryl comes back saying, pretty much hand signing, Rick saying, yeah, I didn't find anything, don't worry about it, this and that. And then dogs come, rabbit dogs, and you think that they're going to be into a fight. No, Sarah comes along with a gun and shoots all the dogs. And then they have a meal, they cut up the dogs, there you go, dog meat. They eat it, then Noah and Sasha talk for a bit. And for some reason, I don't really like Sasha at this point, because Noah's like, I don't know if I can handle it. And then Sasha's like, if you can't handle it, then you're gonna die. I'm like, oh my god, seriously. I know she's grieving and everything like that, but, like, seriously? Then we go to, Glenn is talking to Maggie. Of course, they're on the road again. Glenn and Maggie talk for a bit. Then Sasha and Abraham talk. Then we go to Daryl. Daryl's back in the woods again for, like, the 4th time this episode. Daryl's smoking, and then he takes... Ooh, my laptop. But then he takes a cigarette with it, like, the palm here. He stops the cigarette with his, like, area right here. At that, I know what he was talking, what he was doing. He's like, he doesn't want to remember anything, and he doesn't want to feel, he just wants to feel the pain of what's going on in this point of time. Instead of, like, cutting yourself, like, some people, like, I don't want to say that because I know, like, somebody in the comments will be like, cutting yourself is bad, and all this and that. But anyways, so he puts out the cigarette with his hand, and he starts crying, because he knows that Beth is gone, and this and that. He has her knife, and, you know, there we go. Then we get, Daryl comes back to the group, and it's really cool, because I could bring out, like, one of the volumes saying, like, I don't want to bring it out, because it's at the end of the episode. But anyways, they come back, Daryl comes back, and there's just a bunch of water in the middle of the road, and it has a note saying, from a friend. Of course they don't trust it. Eugene's like, I'm going to test it. Abraham comes over, like, bitch slaps it out of his hand, and says, you're not taking that drink. We are not risking it. You're not risking the mission. Of course, there's no mission at this point. I'm just making up stuff right now. Then it starts raining. Of course, they need water. So they're like, yeah, we should make it rain for some reason. It's like clear skies. Then it starts raining. Then it gets really bad. Then it looks like a tornado, pretty much. Well, I will say right after this. But it's a really bad storm, so Daryl's like, I found a barn not too long ago, so let's go back there and huddle down for the night. Of course they do. Carol and Maggie talk. Rick talks about his grandfather being in the war, World War II, about killing Nazis and all that. And then afterwards, Rick's like talking to Daryl saying, yeah, you don't need to worry about all this and that. I think he says, like, we're the Walking Dead. Or, yeah, like that, we're all dead or whatever. And Daryl's like, I don't like those words. So he stomps off and just goes to the front gate. Then, one sec. Alright, last part. So when Daryl's at the front gate, or front door of the barn, he's just wandering around. Then he looks out, like, the crack of the door, because they have it chained up loosely, so the doors are, like, bowing in, because the wind and everything's going towards it. He looks out the door, and there's just, like, 30 zombies outside the door, and I'm like, what is going on? Isn't this, like, a big storm? Wouldn't all the wind and everything like that push over zombies or the lightning strike? Maybe the zombies would go after the lightning strikes, but nope. There are 30 zombies outside the barn because, it has to be interesting. So, Daryl, of course, starts holding up the door, trying to get the zombies to stay back and keeping the door up. Then Maggie sees them, Sarah, then everybody else sees, and pretty much push up against the door to pretty much so nothing happens. And at that point, something happens. They all get blown back. I don't know what happened. But I thought it was a dream at this point because Maggie wakes up and she's, like, fine and everything like that. Or, like, I thought it was a grenade because somebody would have helped them out again. But no, something happens, but then Maggie wakes up, she talks to Daryl, and Daryl's like, yeah, I fixed your music box, so, you can listen to music again. Then, of course, Maggie goes over to Sarah, and they go outside. And at that point, I'm like, what is going on? Because there's, like 5 foot, like, wide trees, like, thick trees, bent over. I'm like, okay, maybe there's only that one. And it killed some zombies. Then there's a big, wide gap through the trees, just all blown down. I'm like, what is going on? Did a tornado just go by? I don't know, it must have been a really bad storm if that happened. So, of course, Maggie and Sarah talk for a bit. They try out the music box. It didn't work. But then a strange character comes around the corner. And it's Aaron. If you didn't read any of the comics, Aaron is pretty much from Alexandria. And he's a recruiter, pretty much, for the group. And, of course, I don't want to go into all of that because it's spoilers for maybe the season finale. But I said a few episodes ago, they're going to be in Alexandria. And look at that! Aaron's up. I'm just looking at the volumes. I'm like, should I bring it up? Nah, I don't need to worry about it. But yeah, Aaron comes out, and he's like, I want to see your leader, Rick. Because, of course, he's following them for a bit. He's the one who pretty much put the water in the middle of the road. Of course they don't trust him. Trust Aaron. They pull out their guns, point it at them, and then the music box starts playing up. I don't know, maybe it's showing that maybe times are getting better because the music started. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. I'm just going to close my laptop, showing there's no more notes. And I'm going to put it down here. But yeah, that's the end of the episode, and there you go. Next week's episode is, like, episode 11. And there you go. You can leave right now, but I'm just going to say what I thought about this episode. I thought it was boring. Really. I just thought it was boring. There was just them walking around, and there's just a few people griefing, and how they grief is really bad. Maybe they would just stop down for a bit, maybe make a small camp or something like that. Search the big area around them. And yeah, just search the area. But no, they gotta keep on going to DC with no supplies or anything. Just keep on walking. And I thought it was really cool that Aaron is part of the group and everything like that. And yeah, that's my thought of the episode. And just so you know, if you don't care about any of this, I make a weekly thing for zombies. It's a weekly series, and it's called Zombie Mouth. But this week, I'm putting it to Mondays now, because it's 2 videos a day. Maybe I'll probably put it up Mondays now, because Walking Dead's back on, and when the Walking Dead's not back on, it's going to be switching back to Sundays. But for now, just so you know, Zombie Mouth is now scheduled on Mondays. But there you go. And I'll see you next time. Bye.